Well, hey, and welcome to the Becoming Better podcast. My name's Nate, and I'm so glad you're here. On today's episode, Jason, Josh, and I sit down and we discuss last Sunday's message. We also sit down and answer some of your questions. We also talk about another series that we did back in 2020. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about the different apostles, you can click on the link below to watch those. Well, we hope you enjoy this conversation. How's it going, guys?
Happy Monday, everybody.
Welcome. Welcome all.
Yeah.
I feel like we're like the family that just got in an argument going to church.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but now you brought it up.
Oh, you know what happens though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into
We'll
it
get
in a
into
bit.
that part. But, which this might be a good segue. Have you guys, so Jason's message was about the apostles, and it had me thinking about MySpace.
What?
Your top 12?
MySpace?
My top 12, yeah.
Let's go.
So it had
Oh, bro.
the whole circle and how like each group like got smaller and smaller. And then I'm just sitting there thinking about like, man, junior high Nate just sitting in his room trying to figure out who he was going to put on his top 3. So I wanted to see who would you guys put on your top 3 out of this group that we got to talk about.
Okay, first off, I never had a MySpace. You guys ought to know this. I'm a late adopter to everything. So by the time I came around, it was already gone. Right?
Yeah,
Nobody was.
bro, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
You could MySpace essentially taught you how to code.
Yeah.
You had to embed stuff in a website.
Yep.
Like it was a genius how he got us to do that.
if you wanted to make it look good.
Yeah, because you had to drop in different stuff, music videos, like when it opened up. Oh yeah, bro.
Which is why I'm not doing it.
Josh for sure had that.
I was
MySpace.
an old guy. When was that popular? I was probably in my 20s.
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question.
If junior high Nate is doing it, you're talking married Jason at that point.
2008.
Yeah.
MySpace had 115 million monthly visitors.
2000,
That was at its peak. So
2008 is when I moved here. I was a lead pastor in 2008.
So 2008, I was a sophomore in high. That's when it was the most popular. It's when
yeah,
it started.
so 2003 is when it started.
Yeah, I was about to say that's probably when I got into it, like right into college. Like, yeah, I would say that's definitely it.
Yeah, 2003. I'd already been married for 5 years. We're not MySpacing it in 5 years into my
Yeah.
marriage.
Well, that's not true though, bro. Because Facebook is all married people now. Like your son the
Now,
other day,
but it was-
somebody's
how
like,
did
"Oh,
it
we'll go on
start?"
Facebook," and your son was like, "Ugh." Levi was like disgusted that anybody even said, right? Like, but that's what I'm saying
Yeah.
is like married people are all up on the Facebook.
But because that's what they learned 15 years ago.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's
I
because
don't
there
know.
was no.
Nana didn't learn that, bro. Like there's a lot of people who are plus 60 on Facebook.
Yes,
That's
for
why,
sure.
That's why Josh moved off of it. But anyways, you didn't have any MySpace
I'd know.
ever.
I was a late adopter. I am a late adopter.
I had
to
it in
everything.
Vegas, so that's why I know because
Yeah.
I had it. I had it in Las Vegas.
No, I
But
did.
boy, you get new friends, man. They got to go up in that top 12.
Yep.
It gets real dicey real quick.
2008, I was a lead pastor trying to preach on this stuff.
I was preaching, but I was no lead pastor. I was a student pastor.
Yeah.
It's the life of having to do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, kid. Yeah. That's, whew, boy. I remember like all the, man, I wonder, could you still access your old MySpace profiles?
No.
Oh, they killed them all?
So yeah, they've killed them all. Now it's like a band page. So
That's what it really
you're-
was great
yeah.
at, right?
Yep.
The music side of
Yep.
MySpace was really excellent.
So yeah. So everybody migrated to Facebook. So it kind of died then.
You had to do
But back to your question.
Back to the question.
Who would I put in my like real people made my top 12?
No,
or
no.
the group
From
of apostles?
The group of apostles.
Who's in your top 3?
I mean, you really only know like
There's only you only know
Yeah.
like 4. Nobody's
Yeah.
picking.
I
Nobody's picking the second Judas.
yeah, because the Philip we know is not even the Philip that like
he's not
is
the
eunuch.
evangelist.
Yeah, so it's even he's the deacon Philip.
Yeah.
yeah. So he kind of Yeah, he gets tossed out. Maybe it feels like Jason's throwing Thomas in there. He really likes that guy.
I think Thomas gets a bad rap.
He really,
I'm in with Thomas.
really. I mean,
So,
Peter.
top 3?
I feel like Peter got to be in your top 3. It just would be foolish for him not to be. He just is pretty, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to Andrew.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the younger brother. I'm tired of the older brother stealing all the spotlight.
I'm an older brother, so it doesn't bother me.
That tracks. That tracks.
Doesn't bother me. Yeah, I'm going Peter. Probably. You're right, though. Probably because we know more of Peter. More
Yes.
people see themselves
Yeah.
as Peter.
Yes.
But if we knew more of these other guys, you may say like, oh, that's definitely my personality.
Yeah.
We
Well, I
just-
called out on. I do feel a little bit like Philip. Like he missed the forest for the trees, and I do that too.
let's see
I'm
here.
tracking. I track with that.
Let's see.
But nobody's picking Bartholomew.
I think I am.
What do you know about that guy?
I don't know anything about him, but that name.
I tried. That's what we tried to get Silas. We were no, maybe it's Gideon. One of our boys, we
Yeah.
for sure tried to go Bartholomew. My dad was like, no. I also tried to do Thaddeus, and she wasn't having that either.
Really?
Yeah, she wasn't having any of these. I was like,
His,
Thaddeus would've been
he
a good
could
one.
have. He could have had his name as a foundation in the.
I know. I was like,
Kingdom.
we can call him Thad. That's a dope name. Let's go. Let's go with Thad. But
Yep.
we got Silas, and he fits. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. He's, there's some stories of that guy in the Bible too, but it just felt like it's what everybody was doing. Want to really change it up.
Yep.
But so Peter, are you picking John?
Yeah, you got to go with John.
John is so. Dinah was so we were sitting next to my wife when we were at the 11, and you made the comment about John being like 14. Well, 13 or 14. I have a child who's about to be 13. And I was like, oh my gosh. But Dinah was like, no way. She was like, she wrote it down, but I think like, I don't think she's going to try to disprove you. But it was like, there ain't no way he was only 13. But then when you look, he's a little messy with some of his writings.
Yeah.
I know he was older when he was doing it.
he was
but
way
that,
older when he wrote
But that
that.
does feel like that feels like the personality fits. Like, because they were always the ones who were arguing about who's the greatest.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, yeah, teenager. Yeah.
And they were getting Mama to come have the conversation with Jesus on their behalf.
Yep.
They are.
I'm going. I like John though. John's my favorite gospel. But anyways, I like John, so I could get down with John. Peter.
And then who's taking 3rd?
Oh, who's going in number 3? Let me just go. Simon the Zealot, I bet, was a wild dude. So you got the Zealot and the tax collector. I mean, I'm probably more like the tax collector. Got a bunch of just sketchy friends. Probably. I'm probably hanging out with that guy. I do want to like imagine this group together. It just is so crazy.
Just a ragtag team.
Oh yeah, you got this. Yeah, just opposite ends of the spectrum. The Zealot and the tax collector. Yeah, I'm going Simon the Zealot, just because he would probably make the party fun.
Yeah.
Or maybe Matthew. I don't know.
People don't understand the zealot piece.
Well, let's explain it to us. You really didn't touch on it.
I didn't. So zealot was actually a part of a political party. So it's not just someone who has zeal. There is part of that, but there was the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and the zealots. And the zealots were the most hardcore, wanting to reestablish Jewish dominance back to the days of King David. And so you had the Pharisees who kind of worked alongside with the high priest and some of the secular leaders. And so did the Sadducees. They all kind of worked together with the government. The zealots were the guys who were ready to overthrow the government all the time. And so that's why Josh brought up the idea of Matthew, the tax collector, who worked for the Romans, being in the same group, in the same small group with the zealot who's ready to burn down the whole government. And so,
Because I think in Acts 1, it was Simon who's like, hey, man, we're going to finally do this. We're restoring the kingdom. Let's do this. And Jesus was like, oh, here we go again. Like, it had to be his question. It says they asked.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, it was him. I think Simon. But I also think because he was, all these teachings we've been like running through, Jesus' teachings pushed against him probably the most. And yet he's in this group. like the life change that had to happen with this guy. Because
And he gets no airtime.
no
anywhere
airtime. You don't know
else.
anything about him. Just
Nothing.
know, but you had to know he was a zealot. So when you're hearing all these stories, especially in the Gospels, that Jesus is not ever about restoring the kingdom as he once thought. Yet he is in this group of apostles. The life change that had to happen with this guy is just crazy to me. So that's why I pick him sometimes as my guy. I'm like, man, I bet it was just like, because Matthew for sure seems like a 180. This guy too. I don't even think Peter and them would have been like hanging out with this guy. He would have been like the outcast of this group. Like, I don't want to hang out with this dude.
Yeah.
He's always the guy who's probably in the argument. Just,
Simon, you take it too far, man.
Yeah.
You just take it too far.
you take it too far. He's just always trying to talk about this, man. We know what we used to be, bro. Let it be. Just let it die. Yeah. So, it just is super interesting. So that's what I think. What about you, Nate? Who's your top three?
I'd probably say John, and then Matthew, and then I'd throw in Bartholomew.
Nate's feeling that Bart. He's trying to go
I'm
Bart.
just hanging out with him.
Yeah.
So
That fits though, because he probably doesn't say a whole lot. That's you. You
Yeah,
just kind of sit back and
100%.
you're just taking it
Nah,
in.
we're just
Same, bro.
watching it.
We don't know a ton of James. I mean, like it's always James and John, but you know more of John.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you
100%.
don't know a ton of James either.
That's right.
Like he's lumped in as the up there, but you're like you don't ever hear him talk because it's not the James that you read in your Bible.
No.
It's a different James. So it's like, hey man,
Not James who wrote the book of James.
who wrote the book of
Yeah.
James? Who's
That was
speaking-
James, the brother of Jesus.
who's speaking in the book of Acts? Who stands up? Who's leading the church in Jerusalem?
no,
And
James was the one who got killed first.
that's what I'm saying. He feels like he got the short end of the stick, man.
He was the first martyr.
Yep.
Of the apostles.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the first martyr wonder.
No, that would have been Stephen. Yeah.
But yeah. So it is interesting. Bartholomew.
Well, I was looking at, and all of the sources that I'm reading say the disciples were anywhere from 13 to 30, and several of them say 15 to 18 for John. So I don't know who else they would have thought were 13, but
That's
so
just,
maybe not 14, maybe he's 15. But it's
it's still crazy.
yeah,
Like, just put that into perspective.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gone.
it's
I'm
it's
out.
Eli.
I'm bouncing.
Yep.
Mom, I'm not coming home.
Eli is
I'ma go-
14 and a half.
I'm going to hang out with this guy. And I know all you think he's kind of crazy. Because it's not like I'm sure their parents were like, oh, we love this dude. Like, Jesus had some things. People were saying some things. They were like, are you going to follow him? He ain't no rabbi. What we doing? So that's wild. 18, you go, it makes sense. You're like kind of becoming a person.
Yeah.
You're like a young man. Go live in the world. 15, be gone. So just out the house.
Probably kept a clean house once they were gone.
Yeah, these sons of thunder. These
Mom's
sons
just
of
ready to get rid of them. Mom's
Get rid of these two boys.
These
You can have them.
guys to go.
Yeah, these you.
It's like sending them to military camp, right? That's what you do with the out of control boys.
Get them out.
Just
Dad was like, "You know how much more work
what
I
was
get
that
done now."
island in Kentucky? There was an island, a military island that they would send boys to. It was some kind of redemption.
I don't know.
It's where you send the terrible kids, and you're just trying to get them.
I mean, do you know people who went there? You're speaking like experience.
I was threatened multiple times to get sent to
It
this
probably
place.
doesn't exist. Nana just made it up.
She probably did.
She just made it.
Corn Island?
No,
No, I don't know what he's talking
I'll
about.
have to Google it. I'll see if I can figure it out.
I honestly have no idea what he's talking about. No clue. Interesting. Well, hopefully in your life groups or discipleship groups or with your children,
Yep.
talk about who your top three are and debate on who is the greatest.
Awesome.
Peter, because the list tells me he's
Yep.
the greatest.
So let's jump in. This last Sunday, we were in chapter 3 so we broke it up into those different sections. What are we, section 3 now?
Yes.
Well, it's weird though because it's section 3,
But it's
year 2.
Year 2.
Yeah.
So we're
a
in
little
year
different.
2 and kicked off with selecting the 12 disciples.
Apostles.
Apostles,
Sorry. And yeah, so Josh, you were in Prescott hanging out. What did you see? What did you hear? What did you think?
Yeah, thought it was interesting. I wrote down next to my Bible, hopefully everybody else did too, is just that Revelations piece, right? Like putting those, like Jason timed those two things together, but it just made so much like, oh my goodness, this is such a huge moment.
Yeah.
That these 12 ragtag dudes who were just sitting here talking about, like, are on these thrones. What are we doing? This is nuts. They were just fishermen and normal guys and everyday fellas and zealots and tax collectors, and this was a really big deal that, for the most part, you're right, we just kind of breezed through it because it's like, oh, he picks 12 guys. Yeah, we kind of know this. Oh, yeah. So, and then just a reminder around the opposite way the circle worked is Jesus took the big and went to the small. We always assume it was small, and then he grew the big.
Yeah.
So he was hanging out with these dudes for a year. So they were hanging out with him for a year before he leans in and makes this decision.
Yes.
So he has some reference. It wasn't just out of nowhere too. Like he didn't say that, but he kind of did, but it's implied in the year 2. Oh, wow. He's likely been around most of these guys for a really long time and knows of them and knows what they're doing. And these guys have walked away from stuff already to be following Jesus. They're his disciples. And so, which again, I think, time, but still it's only a year, and he was like, hey, come do this thing. 1 year in, he picks these kids and their names are in the foundations of heaven.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Love the way you ended it, Jason, just with the 3 points of seeing the big picture and seeing, the 12 names that are in the foundation can almost make it feel like we're not capable and we're not, called to this. But, doing those 3 steps or 3 points that you made it, I think for me personally, just realized that, Jesus called these guys, they had knowledge of the Jewish law and the word, and he just brought them along and gave them a purpose and put them on a mission. And love that you mentioned, I have 2 good things and 1 bad thing, and it's usually flipped, and it's usually all bad things.
I said that at the 8, and they all laughed out loud. Like, they laughed. They saw the 9:30. I got nothing.
Yep.
Like, they were just looking at me like they didn't.
That was something I was like, man, it feels like you really sped through to get to that last one. I was like, we need to flesh out that top one just a little bit more. I was like, you were writing excited to get to the third one. We're getting to the third one. Let me tell you, I was like, you should probably flip it. So it's like, I'm gonna give you the bad one, then I'm gonna give you the 2 good. Nope.
No.
We're gonna end on the bad one. No, we're gonna, the kingdom's built by people.
Ordinary.
And then ordinary people, right? Yeah. Like, it is the people first, to your point, that God chooses people.
Yeah.
He could have used angels. He could have used telepathy. He could have used signs in the sky. He could have 1,000 ways that God could have got his message out and changed the world. But it was these people.
And then, to your point, ordinary dudes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
wasn't the kings,
dudes.
wasn't the high priests. It was just people, just regular old random, at least in our minds, random people. But they weren't random.
Yeah, I
they
think
were
not random, but just the societies, they had no social standing. It wasn't like these 12 got Jesus in rooms of the elite. Probably the opposite, actually, because again, they already yelled at him for having a party with them. Yeah, and then the warning of Judas.
Yep. So, and then loved the way you used the someone poured into you.
Yeah.
Sam, was it Sam?
Uh-huh.
Sam poured into you, and then you even said like Randy pouring into Corey.
Yeah.
And just walking away of just thinking of the people that poured into me that got me to this spot that I'm at. Is just amazing, and just thinking through like who are we reaching out to be the same thing. So I think taking that into the next week and next month of all right, who's on my heart right now that I need to be actively pursuing and not just try to pass it off to the Holy Spirit. Because I think a lot of times when we're praying, that's exactly what we're praying. But I feel like if we ever get to that point of praying that prayer, we just need to remind ourselves like, nope, that's who I am.
Yep.
That's me. So, I thought it was a great message. So, Jason, if I gave you 10 more minutes, would you have added anything? Would you have sat in number 3 a little longer? Or
punks? No, I would have spent a little more time trying to just share a little bit of a couple of the interactions that we know of the disciples. I would have brought up the Simon the Zealot piece. I didn't even get to say that, in Matthew, and the tension that would have been in that small group, So there was, again, I shared, I think it was Bartholomew or Thaddeus that had the one line that you always forgot, and I would probably try to bring out just a couple of more of those little pieces, but I had to just kind of buzz through a little bit more than I wanted to.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we got 15 or 20 questions.
Literally.
I love.
But they're all the same.
They're all the same question. So
you all had this. And how many times did you get asked Sunday?
A half a dozen at least at Pastor's Point. The same question.
I got it 3 or 4 of my own self.
Yeah.
I didn't even preach sermon. People were asking me.
Yep. So yeah, who? What's the 12th name?
Okay, so the question that we got over and over again was, okay, if there's 12 guys and they're going to have their names on the foundations in heaven, is Judas' name going to be on the foundation? And if not, who's it going to be? And so I think, let me start by answering the first one, because we actually had somebody ask the question about, is Judas' name going to be on there? And I think the answer to that is no. I think we could say that. I feel confident in saying that. But again, we try not to just bring our opinions to this stuff. So we want to have a biblical answer for why we say that. So John 17 would be where I'd go. So the book of John, chapter 17, John writes, about the prayer of Jesus. He's praying this. This is the night of his death. So right before he gets arrested. So they've already done the Last Supper. Judas has already dipped his hand in the bowl. Satan's already entered him, and he's gone off. He's not with these guys anymore. He is off betraying Jesus as we speak. Jesus then goes and he prays in John chapter 17. And he's praying for his disciples, the text says. And here's what it says, starting in verse 12. Jesus says, "While I was with them, I protected them and kept them safe by the name that you gave me. None has been lost except," and here's what it says, "except the one doomed to destruction, so that Scripture would be fulfilled." So Jesus makes a specific prayer for his disciples about their protection, claiming, I haven't lost any of them except the one who was doomed to destruction. Like, it was already set in stone. This was his fate. And then he adds, so that Scripture would be fulfilled. So is Judas going to be there in the end? I don't think he is. I think he was doomed to destruction from the beginning, and that was part of God's plan from the beginning, that he would be the one to betray Jesus.
That's just brutal.
Yeah.
This is brutal. Like, I get, like, this is the humanity of it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, man. Like, dude walked, all these miracles we're about to read, he was in on them.
Yeah.
He saw them all. He was sent out with Jesus in the power. That's what's great. Like, Jesus is about to send these guys out 2 by 2, and Judas is in that group. He has the power to, like, do all of these things. Mm-hmm. All of them. Mm-hmm. And yet.
And we'll come back to that, because that's an important piece.
Man, that's crazy.
So So the answer is no. I do not think Judas is going to be there. So we can take him out. I think somebody said they're going to scratch his name off. No,
I don't think it made it.
He didn't make it. He's not.
To your point, the Acts 2 part, right? You know.
So let's go there.
Acts
So
of the Apostles.
Yeah.
We don't think he wasn't teaching.
No.
Like, because he's no
dead.
longer an apostle.
So what happened? Well, let's go to Acts chapter 1. So who takes Judas's place? So there's really two options that are thrown out. And I'll share one and then address the second one. Okay? So I think the answer is given to us. It's not really, I don't think it's much of a question. So It's Acts chapter 1. We have this moment. We have this moment in Acts chapter 1, and you could start it there in verse 12. So the disciples return to Jerusalem from the Mount of Olives. So Jesus has literally just now ascended into heaven.
The apostles.
I'm sorry, the apostles are
So
gathered
we
together.
use this so
We do it.
interchangeably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus has just ascended into heaven. The apostles are all there. And then they all came back and they go to the upper room. And Luke, who's writing the book of Acts, he says, those who were present were, and then he gives us the list: Peter, John, James, Andrew. Again, always the same four. Philip, Thomas, Bartholomew, Matthew. Always the second four. Sometimes those are in a little bit different order, but it's always the same four. And then James, son of Alphaeus, Simon, Judas, son of James. And if you add them all up, that's 11. The one we're missing is Judas Iscariot. It says they all joined together and constantly in prayer, along with women, Mary, the mother of Jesus, and with his brothers. So all the 11 are there. And it says, in those days, Peter stood up among the believers, a group numbering about 120. And he said, brothers and sisters, the scripture had to be fulfilled, in which the Holy Spirit spoke long ago through David concerning Judas, speaking of Judas Iscariot, who served as a guide for those who arrested Jesus. He was one of our number and shared in our ministry. And that's the part I wanted to say. That's the important piece of this. Judas is not going to be in heaven. From what I see scripturally, it does not seem like Judas is going to be in heaven. But there will be people in heaven because of Judas.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Jesus sent out his apostles 2 by 2 to go preach the gospels. And part of the 72 that went out and preached the gospel, they came back to Jesus saying, we saw demons cast out and Jesus said, yeah, I saw Satan fall like lightning. Like I saw the spiritual work that you all were doing. And Judas was a part of that. There will be people in heaven because of the ministry of Judas, which I would say for all of those of you who have some type of spiritual leader that has poured into you and their life train wrecked, and maybe they even deconstructed, walked away from the faith, you don't have to throw out your faith. Like they could do fruitful ministry that changes your life. Even Paul says, right, when people, false teachers are preaching the gospel under false motives, Paul says, as long as it's the gospel, it's fine. Whether false motives or true, all that really matters is the gospel preached. That fruit that seed will bear fruit. And so I think people will be in heaven because of Judas. So verse 20.
But 18, don't skip 18.
Well, I did skip.
But with a payment he received for his wickedness, like the gospel, Luke reminds us that Judas, although scripture says he was wicked. So there's the balance here, right? It is the both and. This is one of the tension points of Judas' story. This is what I was talking about. Just naming it out loud is the man, if this is what he was always destined to be. Yet there also is this acknowledgement that his wickedness also gained him that access and influence, and then he took it and used it for bad instead of good.
Yeah.
So just want to point that out.
Well, go ahead and read the rest of that.
So he buys a field, and there he fell headlong. His body burst open, and his intestines spilled out.
It's a bad day.
Oh, everyone in Jerusalem heard about it. You think? Yeah, I think everybody heard about it, right? It is, though. Like Judas, just ends his life. Body burst. That has to be painful. But anyway, field of blood. So there you go. I appreciate that Luke reminds me that it was his wickedness that played into this.
Yeah.
that his heart hadn't surrendered to Jesus fully.
He did what he wanted to do in the end.
Yes.
He didn't do it against his will.
Yeah, it wasn't like for sure. And all the while, God knew it too. This is the mysteries of how God works, right? For sure. Okay.
Verse 20. For, Peter said, it was written in the book of Psalms, may his place be deserted, let there be no one to dwell in it, and may another take his place of leadership. So this is Peter pulling back to the Psalms and saying, this was prophesied from the beginning. This was going to happen. And now somebody needs to step up into the place of leadership that was once given to Judas. Therefore, it is necessary. There have to be 12, according to Peter. It is necessary. It's not optional. There's going to be 12. It is necessary to choose one of the men who have been with us the whole time. One of the men who have been with us the whole time the Lord Jesus was living among us, beginning from John's baptism to the time when Jesus was taken up from us. For one of these must become a witness with us of the resurrection. So he goes back to that same group of disciples. So if you think about that circle, there was dozens, hundreds maybe of people who fit into that disciples category, and he picked 12 of them. Peter says, we're going to go back to that disciples category and we're going to pick one to replace him. And so that's what they do. Now, there are 3 requirements to be part of this replacement. He says 3 things. They had to be with us from the beginning, from John's baptism. So these are people who were there with John the Baptist's ministry. They were somehow there when Jesus was baptized. They were somehow there when John was doing the baptizing. When John is pointing out, there goes the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. There was enough people who were a part of that were still with them that they could choose from those groups. So had to go all the way back to that point, at least probably 3 years. And then with us the whole time the Lord was living among us. And then third, who was a witness to the resurrection. So those 3 categories those 3 stipulations have to be met to fit into this category of apostle. And you can read the rest of the text. So they nominated 2 men, Joseph called Barsabbas, also known as Justus.
That man got 3 names. What are we doing? That's just craziness. Come on.
And Matthias.
That's what we were arguing about.
That was what we were arguing about.
How you say his name. Matthias is what my Bible app says.
There is an H in it. It's Matthias.
But that doesn't mean they say it. There's a lot of crazy things with our English language. I don't know if we can be the determiners on how language works. And especially 2 rednecks. We definitely can't be the ones, Jay.
It's Matthias. You could go to a website that has Bible pronunciation names.
You can go to the Bible app that 1 billion people have downloaded.
And that is just a hired actor who is British. So of course he's gonna sound
Why are you
funny.
not British? What's James Earl Jones? He reads the Bible. What's he say? Anyway,
it's Matthias.
Matthias.
And so
Mattias.
So the lot, then they pray and they cast lots, and the lot falls to Matthias. So
which is crazy. The whole which Judas left to go where he belongs. Like they just be whew. Like if you're unclear, they all make it real clear.
Yeah.
Like there's no that's why you can speak to no. Peter stood up. Hey Lord, you know everyone's heart. Show us which of these to take over this apostolic ministry, which is only these guys too, by the way. We didn't even get to talk about that. Like there's a lot of people who run around being like, oh, I'm an apostle.
I tried to address that.
You did, but
I didn't. I wasn't very clear.
You were real nice.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, he's gonna be. There's a lot of people who run around and call themselves apostles. Yep. You're not an apostle. You are a disciple.
Yes.
Who has been sent.
Yes.
By the Lord to go and do the thing. Absolutely. You're not one of these.
No.
The apostolic ministry, we don't get that.
No.
There were 12.
That's right.
Oh, 13 and then 12.
And then maybe 13.
Yeah, all right. But again, Peter which Judas left to go where he belongs. I mean, boy. Peter post-resurrection, he just didn't hold back.
No.
He about to preach to these people and tell them they killed Jesus. I do appreciate it. Yeah, boy.
So if you ask me, the answer I think is pretty clearly Matthias is the 12th.
Yeah.
He's going to be the one. His name will be on the foundations in the new city. Now, some will throw out and ask, and I think our good friend Joe, longtime friend of the podcast,
Long-time listener.
Joe threw out the question, and he is 100% right, and I've had these same thoughts. I've wondered at one point, did these guys jump the gun? And was that 12th spot supposed to be the Apostle Paul? Because he does have an apostle. He was an apostle. And he did not get what these guys got, in the sense that he was not part of the ministry while Jesus was alive.
Nope.
He was not a witness to the resurrection.
Nope.
He was a witness to the resurrected Jesus, but not to the resurrection.
Boom.
And so I don't think Paul fits into this category. Jesus did do a download face-to-face. Paul was discipled by Jesus for apparently 3 years, same as these guys got when Paul kind of was converted and then kind of went off by himself and got this download from Jesus. And so I think Paul is absolutely an apostle designated by Jesus himself as apostle to the Gentiles, but I don't think he fits into the category of being these 12.
Yeah, because, I mean, even when you read Acts 2:42, the apostles' teaching, Paul's teaching is not included that in the beginning of the church. Because to your point, we have all of that, and then we have the road to Damascus, and then 3 years post that, and then how long to get to really they see him as like a teacher to the Gentile. I mean, so we got some years. The church is not even listening to Paul. Now, we for sure would say, yeah, Paul's teaching fits in the apostles' teaching of Acts 2:42.
Yes.
We would say that.
That's
we wouldn't even question it. But the first church, there's many of them who maybe never heard any of Paul's teaching because they could have died before Paul was really seen as influential as we see him now, because we live on this side of it. So, yeah, I don't think Paul is even – I don't even think it's up for debate.
Yeah.
I feel like he doesn't fit any other criteria. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
Katie by the door. And I like Paul. Paul's a big deal.
I love Paul. I think
To your point, when you talk about top people when we did Paul's life, you're talking like Peter, Paul, who?
Yeah, those two.
They're like fighting over you. Like
Yeah.
who's
The whole
more-
book of Acts is these two. We call it Acts of the Apostles. It's really only two of them.
Yeah,
It's just two.
it's Acts of Peter and Acts of Paul.
That's it. It's just those two.
Yeah.
To your point, Philip is thrown in there. He gets like a chapter and a half, but it's not even the right Philip.
It's a deacon.
It's a deacon Philip. It's not even
Who's
Philip
got daughters
the apostle,
who are prophets.
who are prophetesses. That's right. It's outside of those two. Who else is in there? None of the other apostles are
You
in
get
there.
James. James has got one speech, right? No. James, Jesus' brother. That's what I'm saying.
That's right. He's not an apostle.
But he's not. He's just a leader of the church.
He's the leader of the church.
And
That's
you're
right.
like, oh, that's yeah. You get John. You get Peter and John. Like those
Yes.
stories. You get the James who get beheaded.
Yeah.
And he died, which is always again just feels he got the short end of the stick. Everybody's praying. He gets nope. He don't make it. Peter gets out.
But it's Peter and Paul.
Yeah,
That's
it is. It is their.
Those two.
It is their axed, so to speak. Yes. So yeah, I don't think Paul can be up for discussion.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's. I feel like if it would have been, that would have cast those lots and God would have put it on those two dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other part of it. We believe that Peter was filled by the Spirit and was stepping up to do his leadership duty in this moment. Yeah.
Which I do appreciate you pointed out once again that Peter was married, has a mother-in-law,
He did have a mother-in-law.
because just a reminder of some of our other people, brothers and sisters, who tried to tell me that this Pope can't be married because Peter wasn't.
The ones who would call Peter the first pope do not allow you to get married. That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
And he was for sure married because Jesus healed his mother-in-law. So Peter didn't even take your own vow. But again, yeah, just pointing that out, Nate. Just throwing that out there. Yeah. So, but we don't know anything about Matthias. Nothing. Don't
Nothing.
know. Just
Nothing.
that he would happen to be there for 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, so you think he was in the original 72? Had to be, right?
Yeah. Well, he was there, the original, whatever it was when he's with John the Baptist.
So is there
somewhere down there?
So maybe that's just what we say, that there, instead of there's hundreds, maybe we just say there's 72.
Well, maybe it could be, but yeah, we're just making it up. We don't know. There could have been 20. We don't know.
No, there had to be 72.
There was at least 72. But do you think there was only 72 and Jesus?
I don't know. But they get weird with counting, because like even that story in Acts, it's like, the apostles come back and they name them, and then they go, they're constantly in prayer along with the women.
Yeah.
And Mary, the mother of Jesus, with his brothers.
Yep.
So like Luke points out, there's some other people in this room.
Yep.
And we know there's other people in the room because there's 120
yep.
when the Spirit falls, right? 120.
Well, no, 120 is said to be in that text where where he stands up. It's in Acts 1. It's 120. We're in the upper room. Or, I'm sorry, 120. When Peter gathers up the disciples, there were 120.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do appreciate, so just because of our study of the Sabbath, in verse 12, it was a Sabbath day walk, so that was less than 0.6 miles, just so everybody knows.
Real close.
That's what a Sabbath day, no, that's all they could go. They weren't allowed to go no further.
Yep.
That was it. So if this is the so I don't know if this was actually the Sabbath, or if it was just Luke telling me, because we now know from our study of the Sabbath how long they were allowed to walk on the Sabbath. So thank you, Luke, for those details that I've had to learn, because now I just saw this and went, oh, I know how far they walked. That's fantastic. Just that little detail.
I do have one correction to make. I said in my sermon that Jesus talks about, or that Revelation talks about the 12 thrones that the apostles are going to sit on. That actually isn't in Revelation. So this is my mea culpa. It's actually from Matthew. So this actually comes in Matthew chapter 19. And so it's this moment where Jesus gathers his disciples, and they're having this conversation, and Jesus is talking about the things that you've left behind and what it's going to take to enter into the kingdom. And there's this moment. It's the story of the rich man who walks away sad. Mm-hmm. And Peter says, hey, listen, we've left everything to follow you. Does that mean we're getting in? And it's in verse 28 where Jesus says to them, truly I tell you, at the renewal of all things. So when the kingdom comes, when the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you who have followed me, talking to his disciples, will talking to his apostles, will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So that's the moment that I had in my mind when I said that Jesus promises these 12, you're going to sit on 12 thrones with me, and you're going to judge the 12 tribes of Israel, which I thought is interesting, that he picks 12 Jewish boys who did upend their life to follow Jesus, who are actually going to end up judging the rest of the Jewish people who most rejected the following of Jesus as the Messiah. But
do you think the sons of Zebedee were like, let's go now?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm ready to I am sold.
Because they come and ask Jesus. Actually, they sent Mama to ask Jesus, when you come into your kingdom, can one of my sons sit on your right and the other on your left?
Burn it down. Burn it down.
They are ready to go.
You ever want? I wonder. Man, I would love to know their tribes. I'd be super curious, like what tribes these dudes came out of.
Oh,
yeah.
Right?
Right?
Is there any connection?
Is there any connection? Like Jesus picks these 12
12, one from each tribe?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea, because it never ever tells you.
No.
Which Luke definitely not going to tell you. He knows our people don't have any idea about the 12 tribes. Like 12 tribes.
Yeah.
Of course, Matthew would include this story.
Yeah.
Because that is a really big deal. But man, that would be wild. Could you imagine? Like I don't think we can. Man, I don't think we can even picture what that is for those young Jewish men to like judge their people.
That's right. And it's interesting. They don't judge everybody. They don't judge the Gentiles.
Yeah,
but judge 12 tribes of Israel.
So man, what a hard. Oh boy.
So So I misspoke. I just vaguely said, like, I didn't look it up. I just vaguely said, I knew they were going to sit on 12 thrones, and in my head it was in Revelation. It's not.
Yeah.
It's actually in Matthew 19.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would just say, maybe Nate, you might throw this in. It was interesting. We had a couple people mention that they'd never heard any sermons on this text or anybody teach on the list of the apostles. I actually did a sermon series, probably, I guess it was before you guys were around. I don't know. Before you were around, Josh. I did a series called A Seat at the Table. And it was on the life of the apostles. And so I think it's still available on our website somewhere. Maybe.
That would have been
Probably 19.
16, 17, 19? I think I was here for that.
Bro, how you do a whole sermon series on some of these dudes? You did 12 sermons?
I didn't do 12. It was
Okay.
like 6.
Okay.
Because I combined like I did one on.
8 weeks.
You found it?
I found it.
There you go.
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
That's long, dude.
I got
Peter was
skills.
week 1. Andrew, James, and John. Philip and
whoa,
Nathaniel.
You combine James and John?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense because James ain't got no words.
Right. What are you going to do with James?
Philip and Nathaniel, Matthew and Simon. And then he did a week on Thomas, Judas, and then week 8 doesn't have a name on it.
Is the wrap up.
Probably, yeah.
Who do you want to be?
Yeah. So if you're interested, there's a little bit more of a deep
I'll
dive.
add that link.
On our website, right? What'd you go to?
I went to Vimeo. This would have been back when we were using
Well, we've been
Vimeo
trying to
before YouTube.
update. So we got to, we've been trying to update. So there's a bunch of old sermons on the website now. Was this in the day you just recorded and then put it on the website?
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Interesting. Yeah. It was a little crazy that people hadn't heard any sermons.
This was 5 years ago.
Oh, that's not that. Whoa.
That's what I said.
That's not that long ago.
So it might have actually been,
That had to be.
if it was
right.
post-COVID, then we probably.
That had to be
recorded.
right before me then. When did he do it? What year? 2021?
It just says 5 years ago. Hold on. Let me.
This is riveting podcast.
It is.
material.
This is, man. I'm trying to think about, because I got here the end of 21, which is, almost 5 years now. So it had to be like end of 2020 or.
It was 2020.
So you're preaching this post-COVID? So what was it? Let's ask. Nah, we can't get into that. I'm like, let's talk about that reasoning. Is this a pre-planned sermon series?
You know how we roll?
I do know how you roll, but sometimes you shift a little.
I do shift a little.
So I'm wondering if you shifted into this during that midst to talk about things.
I probably wasn't thinking that clearly at the time, to be honest.
No. Well, maybe not.
Probably not.
I don't know.
But it's out there somewhere.
Awesome. I'll add a link to that if you want to check that out on our YouTube. But if not, have a good week, and we'll see you guys Sunday.